Today is the start of Steelers mandatory minicamp, and new offensive coordinator Arthur Smith had some very interesting things to say about the QB competition between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. I'll break that down at the top of today's show. Then we'll go into the latest Steelers wide receiver trade rumors, where Courtland Sutton showed up at Denver Bronco minicamp today, pointing to maybe not the best chances that the Steelers land the Broncos receiver. And then make sure you guys stick around to the end of today's show, where I discuss whether the Steelers should bring back this former Steeler this season before the start of training camp. Before we get into today's loaded edition of Steelers news and rumors from Steelers mandatory minicamp, tonight, Pirates versus Cardinals, Skeens Day for Pirates Nation out there. We're going to be going live for our live watch party tonight. Pirates versus Cardinals at Busch Stadium. Paul Skeens with his sixth MLB start tonight. We're going to be going live 6:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you guys show out, because the better this stream does, the better the chances are that we do future Skeens Day streams here on Steelers Talk. So if you support the channel, come support the channel tonight, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, for our Paul Skeens watch party. And throughout the week here, we got 3 live shows here on Steelers Talk. We got the Paul Skeens watch party tonight. Then we're going to go Wednesday and Friday as well for Steelers Talk Live, 4:30 p.m. Eastern for those. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now to never miss any of our live streams here on the channel. We've been having a ton of fun with our Madden Sims every single Wednesday and Friday, and now we're trying out a Paul Skeens watch party every single week to give you guys some awesome entertainment as we approach the dog days of the NFL offseason. Okay, so let's get into our top story today, where Arthur Smith took the podium earlier today before practice to discuss the various things about the offense, and he was asked about the quarterback competition here in Pittsburgh between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. This is what he had to say about it. Russell's in the pole position, but it's a competition, and obviously we'll get to Latrobe, and certainly I'm sure things will heat up. But both of those guys knew that, however they got here and were acquired, and we've been very transparent about that. So what does pole position exactly mean? Because, I think some people think that this is like an even race, and like they're going to get, the same amount of first-team reps, and, Justin Fields has just as good a chance to be the starting quarterback as Russell Wilson, but that's not necessarily the case. How I interpret pole position, and we've heard Mike Tomlin and now offensive coordinator Arthur Smith use this term, is that, if Justin Fields really shows out in camp, and he is clearly the better option than Russell Wilson, they're going to leave the door open to him winning the job. But right now, Russell Wilson is the guy with experience. He's the person getting most of the first-team reps right now, and he is going to be the person that gets that early advantage to win the job. But Justin Fields is somebody that they're bringing in. He's been a franchise quarterback in this league before, and they're going to give him the chance as kind of the younger option to kind of rip the job away from Russell Wilson. But however, I think it's going to have to be pretty darn clear. Like, Russell Wilson's going to have to play pretty badly, and Justin Fields is going to have to be clearly a lot better than him to get the week 1 starting job. Russell Wilson, like I said, he has more experience, not only in the NFL as a starter, but also in the playoffs. So if the Steelers really want to go out and try to make a run for a Super Bowl, Russell Wilson, with his experience in the postseason, probably gives them their best chance to do that. But if Justin Fields is clearly the best option, they're leaving that opportunity out there for him. And the way that I see this QB competition, it's pretty simple, guys. This job is Russell Wilson's until he loses it, or Justin Fields is able to kind of rip it away from him with high-level play. But at the way that it stands right now, Russell Wilson, in my opinion, has looked better in OTAs. He looks more crisp. He looks, a lot more accurate than Justin Fields and a lot more consistent. So I do think heading into Latrobe and then heading into the season, this is going to be Russell Wilson's job. Now, before we get into the rest of today's show and coming up, I'm going to let you know whether the Courtland Sutton trade rumors are dead, because he did show up to Broncos mandatory minicamp today. So I'm going to let you know if that is the end of the Courtland Sutton trade rumors here on Steelers Talk. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Mando. And today's Steelers Talk video is brought to you by Mando Whole Body Deodorant. Get $5 off a starter pack today when you use code CHAD at shopmando.com. Ditch the soap and step up to the plate with Mando Whole Body Deodorant today. Developed by a doctor, this game-changing formula is safe for your entire body and knocks out odor like a champ. Mando is made with mandelic acid, which picks off odor at the source, keeping you fresh for up to 72 hours. Mando is available in solid sticks, invisible cream, body wash, cleaning bars, and deodorant wipes for on-the-go use. So no matter how you want to deodorize yourself, whether you prefer bar soap, whether you prefer body wash, whether you prefer invisible cream, or even deodorant wipes, you can get that job done with any of Mando's excellent products. Don't let foul balls ruin your game. Switch to Mando and keep your body odor in fair territory by taking advantage of their special offer for new customers of $5 off their best-selling starter pack when you go to shopmando.com and use chat. Guys, my favorite Mando product is their body wash. It's bourbon leather. I got, when we first started our partnership here with Mando, they gave us a bunch of these sample bottles, and I tried it out. I tried it out for a week, and I was like, you know what, I'll try it out. And it was fantastic. I now have a full bottle. I use Mando body wash every single day as well as their deodorant. It's fantastic, and it keeps me smelling fresh for up to 72 hours. And Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers because it comes with a solid stick of deodorant, cream tube deodorant, plus 2 free products of your choice. You can get a mini body wash, or you could also get their highly rated deodorant wipes, plus free shipping. Luckily, I have a discount code to help you not get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. So use code CHAT at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. A big thank you to Mando Whole Body Deodorant for sponsoring today's edition of Steelers Talk. So when it comes to Courtland Sutton here, this is somebody that I've kind of held out hope as a potential trade target post-draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It makes sense for Denver to trade him post-June 1st because they save more money, all these different things. They've tried to trade him before. They traded Jerry Jeudy. I was keeping my hopes up here, but it definitely seems like he is not going to get traded as he did show up to mandatory minicamp in Denver today. James Palmer broke the news, says, as expected, wide receiver Courtland Sutton is at the first day of Broncos mandatory minicamp. Courtland said in a radio interview last week that he would be attending Broncos minicamp, and now the news is official. And then to put more gasoline on the fire here, Ian Rappaport reports that he would be surprised, quote unquote, if Denver trades Courtland Sutton at this point in the offseason, saying there's a reason that teams almost never trade starting caliber players this time of year because you can't replace them. And if they don't want to pay Courtland, and Denver is a rebuilding team, maybe they want to offload him for some cap relief. It's, I guess, not impossible that the Steelers could get something done for Courtland Sutton, but at this point in the offseason, it definitely seems unlikely. So the big question now becomes, will a move for a wide receiver still happen for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Because it doesn't seem like San Francisco is willing to come to the table unless, either Debo or Brandon Ayuk straight up demand a trade. And now Courtland Sutton seems like it seems like the likelihood becomes less and less by the day for him. But this is what Jason LaConfora, an NFL insider, had to say about the Steelers wide receiver plans this offseason. I'm pretty bullish on the Steelers. They're going to add a receiver at some point between now until the trade deadline. That's going to happen. They've budgeted for it. They've been trying to make it happen. I'd be stunned if it didn't. So it still seems like the Steelers are definitely still in the market for a new wide receiver. But personally, guys, I'm not sure if it's going to come via trade. All right, like Rappaport says, teams usually don't trade starting caliber wide receivers at this point in the offseason because you don't really get anything for them until next offseason anyway, right? So I'm just not sure that the Steelers are going to be able to land a wide receiver 2 in a trade. Doesn't seem like Seattle's coming to the table. It doesn't seem like San Francisco's coming to the table, and it doesn't seem like Denver's coming to the table either. So unless you're getting a guy like Treylon Burks, who's pretty much a bust at this point, I'm not sure if the Steelers are going to be able to trade for a big-name receiver this offseason. And right now, I'm just going to warn you right now, folks, the most likely scenario, if the Steelers sign another receiver this offseason, it's probably going to be Michael Thomas. The team has had conversations with Michael in weeks past, and I do think they're kind of trying to, try to take this Brandon Ayuk thing as far as it will go. But once it becomes obvious that there isn't going to be a trade option for the Steelers, I think Omar Khan is going to pull the trigger for Michael Thomas. It's a scheme fit. I think that, he brings something that this wide receiver room definitely needs, which is size. He's a true red zone threat, and when he's on the field, he is still a really good wide receiver. So at this point in the offseason, he is definitely the best free agency option for the Steelers, and I think he will be wearing black and gold come training camp. Now, what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comments section. Would you sign Michael Thomas in free agency if you were the Steelers? Type S if you would sign him, or type P if you're going to pass on him. Then we get to Hakeem Butler here, who is the former Steeler that I was referring to at the beginning of today's show. Completely lit it up in the UFL this spring. He won Offensive Player of the Year for the St. Louis Battlehawks, I believe, is the team that he played for. And, he's definitely somebody that brings size. He's somebody that brings, an explosive athletic profile. And we saw that when Butler was with the Steelers in training camp last year. And he's even getting interest from other NFL teams right now, as Rappaport reported yesterday that the Panthers are expected to work out Hakeem Butler before training camp starts this year. So it seems like, the UFL is really high on him. Wade Phillips, who was a coach in the UFL this year, NFL coaching legend as well, said Hakeem Butler deserves to be in the National Football League. And it seems like he's got a lot of friends that are considering Butler and bringing him in for at least a tryout here. So could the Steelers bring back Butler? Could they consider that, especially because, like we talked about, a wide receiver trade becomes less likely by the day for the Steelers. If you don't want Michael Thomas, but you still want kind of a bigger type receiver with good hands that can make tough catches, Hakeem Butler is somebody that might be something to try again here with the Pittsburgh Steelers as we approach training camp in 2024. And honestly, guys, I wouldn't hate it. This is somebody that has really lit it up in the UFL for 2 straight seasons. He won Offensive Player of the Year. He's certainly, in terms of the UFL crop of talent, among the best still available on the free agency market. So with the Steelers in the wide receiver position that they're at right now, where they're still in need of guys with size, guys that can run block, guys that can make tough contested catches in the red zone, I wouldn't hate bringing back Hakeem Butler whatsoever for another run at Steelers training camp. But don't get me wrong. If you bring in Hakeem, I would still like to add another receiver like a Michael Thomas. If you could bring in Michael Thomas and Hakeem Butler before training camp, that injects some nice size and some nice red zone ability into this wide receiver room that has a lot of shorter, kind of deep threat receivers like Calvin Austin III, Quez Watkins, Roman Wilson. It'd be nice to add some size here to this room to put on the other side of George Pickens, who's, of course, one of the best 50-50 ball receivers in the game. So what say you guys? Let me know. Bring in Hakeem Butler for training camp yet again for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let me know what you guys think by typing yes or no for me down there in the comments. And that'll be it for today's show, guys. Remember, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, we are going to be going live for Pirates versus Cardinals. Skeens takes the mound for the 6th time as a starting big league pitcher tonight. Hopefully he can put together yet another fantastic performance. Join me and Jack Lauderay, our MLB analyst here at Chat Sports tonight. 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:45 p.m. is first pitch. Make sure you guys join us, and make sure you click that subscribe button right now to join us for not only all of our live shows that we're going to be doing throughout this summer, but also all of our premium Steelers and Pirates coverage here on Steelers Talk all throughout the 2024 NFL offseason.